I happened to be out in Vermont, which is, where Rosemary Gladstar lives, and didn't know that at the time, but my friends were like, I was obsessing over this cream I'd bought at the natural food store, and it was a hot day, it was the middle of summer, and this thing was melting, and I needed to find a cooler, and we were just like desperately looking for a refrigerator for this cream, and my friend was like, you can teach yourself how to make that stuff.
This show is brought to you by Mountain Rose Herbs. Mountain Rose Herbs is committed to putting people, plants, and planet before profit in everything they do. They work hand in hand with farm partners to provide the highest quality organic herbs, spices, extracts, teas, essential oils, and DIY fare. So please visit mountainroseherbs.com for all your herbal product needs. Okay, here we go with Herbal Radio.
Welcome to Herbal Radio. This week's episode features Colleen Bingham. Colleen is the founder of Herb Nerd, a digital education hub for herbal medicine making and natural product development.
Hello, Tommy. How are you?
I'm so excited. You're an herb
good.
nerd. So I love talking with passionate people, and nerds are my favorite because, anybody who's a nerd about something they're going to talk your ear off, and they're going to know so much, and you're going to learn so much.
Yeah, I'm a what's that called? Self-identifying nerd.
I
My
think.
background is actually in the arts,
Oh,
so
really?
I
Oh, good.
I
We're gonna
got
talk.
more nerdy.
We're gonna have so much fun in this conversation. We're gonna
Great.
be able to weave in and out, pull
Right.
each thread a little bit. Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm
So
glad it's less about like trying to have any one message come through because I'm keep being like this exists through time, and that makes me nervous,
this
but
is
whatever, we're gonna be fine.
it's a hard hitting interview. It's going to have so many tough questions for you.
Oh
You're
my
going to be
God.
sweating.
Yeah, it's tough.
Nothing like that at all.
That's
Nothing
why I
like that
took
at
some
all.
other wort before I got started.
Oh,
This is more real.
this
More
is
real.
just, yeah, exactly. So I'm so happy that you're on.
Yeah,
Where are
I
you
love
coming
it.
from?
I live in Sonoma County, California.
I love Sonoma County. So
Me too. I
beautiful.
can't leave.
Yeah. Every time I go down to California, I'm like, wait, why don't I live in California?
Yeah, well, because it's expensive.
Oh yeah, there's right. There's that.
It's
Yeah.
That's why we constantly talk about moving to Oregon, actually, coming up by you
Well,
guys.
I don't know. Oregon's pretty expensive now as well. So
Yeah,
I think anything on the West Coast is getting pretty expensive at this
I'm
point.
realizing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also in love with Seattle.
I have not been.
Oh, it's just I have a longing for Seattle. Like when I'm not there, I'm like, oh, I really want to go to Seattle, but
That's cool.
it's so expensive.
Yeah,
Just
my
so
husband lived
expensive.
there back in probably the 90s, early 2000s, something like that. So I'm sure it was great back
Oh,
then. He talked fondly
yeah.
of Seattle as well.
Yeah. Especially that 90s scene. If it had been early 90s, that would have been just crazy
Yeah,
with that,
probably
like
not. I think he's too young for that, but I'm
that,
not sure.
that,
He's older than me.
that rock and roll, that whole scene that was going on.
Totally.
And it was, but anyway, as you can see, this conversation is just going to go anywhere and everywhere, but
I'm here for it.
good. So a little background though. I'd love to know just a little bit about, where you're from and how you got started in herbalism.
Sure. Yeah. I was born and raised in California.
Hmm.
So I can't leave. I don't know. I just love it on the West Coast so much. So
Hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I started out in Southern California,
Mhm.
and then I moved up to Santa Barbara to study theater at UC Santa Barbara.
Fun.
And I love Southern California, beautiful place to live, but I just kind of kept going further and further north. The older I got, I ended up in Berkeley for a few
Hmm.
years right after college,
Hmm.
then moved to San Francisco and
Hmm.
lived there for a time while I was pursuing theater,
Hmm.
which didn't really go anywhere. I did end up spending a lot of time in circus arts and teaching kids,
Really?
which was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
A whole other life ago.
Yeah.
Then I lived in Humboldt County for a time, and then that's where I discovered herbalism.
Mm.
I was actually out visiting Vermont. And, so when I was living in the Bay Area, I became really passionate about organic food systems.
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
working farmers markets
Yeah.
and just was all about, kind of coming to realize how important it was to know where your food was grown and for it to be grown organically.
Mm.
And then I got really passionate kind of through that same vein in what you're putting on your skin.
Mhm.
And so I was just becoming more and more obsessed about skincare products, really. And so I was going to natural food stores and I was like looking at all the labels and
Yeah.
everything on the
Yeah.
shelves. And I happened to be out in Vermont,
Hmm.
which is, where Rosemary Gladstar lives, and didn't know that at the time. But my friends were like, I was obsessing over this cream I'd bought at the natural food store, and it was a hot day. It was the middle of summer, and this thing was melting, and I needed to find a cooler, and we were just like desperately looking for a refrigerator for this cream. And
Hmm.
my friend was like, you can teach yourself how to make that stuff.
Yeah.
There's this woman, Rosemary Gladstar. I think she has this little beauty book and you can check it out. And so
Hmm.
that was my intro to Rosemary Gladstar. And I started reading her books. And then once I moved to Humboldt County, which was in my late 20s,
Hmm.
I took a class with Jane Bothwell, who's a dear friend of Rosemary Gladstar. And it
Yeah.
was kind of a two-part. I was taking the Sage Mountain course, Rosemary's course, alongside Jane Bothwell's Dandelion Herbal Center course.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just was like so drawn to not just the nature side of things, but
Right.
also the people,
Yeah.
like-minded humans
Well,
was a big draw.
there's that saying that all roads lead to, but I think that
Yeah.
with herbalism, it's all roads lead from rosemary. It's true. It's just
I
like
know.
everybody I talk to, she has
Yeah,
touched so many
she's the
people in
gateway.
so many ways, and she's absolutely incredible human being. Who
Right.
also, so we got our start in Humboldt County, Mountain Rose.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's where Mountain Rose, and I believe Rosemary was there at that time. So she
Oh
was
my
in,
gosh,
and then
amazing.
she kind of started Rosemary's Garden, which was a small mail order. And
Yeah,
then she
here in
sold,
Sonoma County where I live
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
But I think I think if I'm getting that correct, that she was originally in Humboldt. And I know that Rose Madrone and that Julie Bailey, who owned Mountain Rose, all came from there as well. So it's all just kind
Cool.
of this, yeah.
It makes
Again,
sense.
that's
The Emerald
centered.
Triangle, it is so magical up
Yeah,
there. I
yeah,
had a hard time leaving,
yeah.
actually.
Oh, I bet.
We talk about going back.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah, we do.
yeah. So, but then you go to Vermont, and and as soon as you mentioned Vermont, I knew where you were going with that. I was like, oh,
Yeah, I was
she
ground
stumbled
zero.
on Rosemary.
Yeah, yeah. I was so grateful to find herbalism. My parents were archaeologists and they took us out camping and, trailer camping and stuff as I was a
Really?
kid. We did all the
Yeah,
state and national parks.
yeah.
I didn't really realize I had such a,
Hmm.
nature was my church
Yeah,
essentially, and I didn't
yeah.
really realize it until I got older, but herbalism was such a profound way to channel just getting to be outside and with the plants.
What were they? What were they? What were they studying? What were they?
Well, it's really controversial now, right? My parents were working actually out in the field. They were digging up native burial sites,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, which is no longer, I mean, it's very frowned upon now. Of course, those are sacred sites and,
Sure, of
the
course.
cross section
Of course,
between
but your parents weren't
colonization
doing
and
it. Your parents weren't doing it for, nefarious reasons. They weren't trying to
no,
sell, the artifacts on eBay. They
no,
were they were there,
out of curiosity.
they're scientists.
They were,
I have a
yeah,
hard
and
time
have
ever.
amazing stories.
This is a controversial statement. Maybe I'll get some feedback on this one, but I have a hard time really going after scientists for doing science. That's a really hard for me to say
Yeah,
that's wrong. Science, I don't understand how we can put a right and wrong on science. Like
yeah,
for that
yeah.
sense of
I mean,
discovery, for that sense of trying to learn more, trying to educate and educate others. I just have a hard time with that. So, but
well said.
yeah.
Well, and to that vein, the reason they were in a lot of these places excavating was
Mhm.
because of the changing California infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like some of these valleys were about to be rivers that were dammed and filled and turning into lakes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, one way of looking at it is let these people lie in their burial
Sure.
sites. But
Of
another
course.
thing is what's down here and what can we learn from these
Of
peoples
course.
before they're just buried under a giant
Right.
body of water.
Right.
So hopefully a lot of those artifacts have ended up back with the native folks and the
Sure.
indigenous
Of
folks that
course.
lived in those areas.
Of course.
And I'm sure some ended up in museums, but we would go out on our camping trips and they would find the bedrock mortars, which
Mm-hmm.
was the spots where they would go to
Mm-hmm.
grind their
Yeah.
acorns. And my
Yeah.
parents were really good at finding all those. And it was just really fun to have that awareness of the
Yeah.
people that had been there before and just lived. You look at these open expanses in the Bay Area and then you
Mm-hmm.
imagine what it was like before
Right.
all of this
Right.
infrastructure, all of these people.
Before humans, made their mark.
Ooh,
A
yeah, I
big, a
struggle with that a
big
lot
old
these
mark.
days. Yeah, I feel like I'm born out of my time, honestly. I,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, it sounds like you're searching for something different. I mean,
yeah,
that's and you were searching for something different at that time. Kind of
absolutely.
understanding that this isn't for you. Like what was going on.
Yeah,
But yeah, so so you go to Vermont. You discover rosemary. You discover
rosemary.
some rosemary recipes, and then
Yeah,
that
start making
just
my own creams and things.
yeah.
It did. It just snowballed from
Oh
there.
yeah. Right. Right. Right.
So I had this cool parallel happening where as I was learning with Jane up in Humboldt County, and my final project was to produce a product line.
Hmm.
Um, it was like an 8 month long program that went along with the seasons. And so I launched my skincare line, which then was called Cali Bean a long time ago. That was, I don't even know, 2010. And then I kept that business going, rebranded it to Poppy Botanicals in 2013. And only recently, back in November of 2024, did we decide to close the business, which is a whole other conversation around, owning a product line
Mm,
and
yeah.
the difference between the spirit of creating and making versus what it's actually realistically like to
Yes.
own and operate a successal business are
Yes.
two very different things.
Very different.
Um,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But as I was doing the product line, my this whole world of product development was opening up for me and formulation and
Hmm.
taking the recipes from the books that I was learning and through some influential people. One woman, her name was Alice Vanel. She's a French woman who still lives here in Sonoma County. She taught me how to formulate, which is where you take those recipes and you translate them into, essentially spreadsheet Excel documents where you can plug and play any ingredient you want. You create the percentages for all those
Mm-hmm.
ingredients. And it was so empowering. And that's kind of what led me to, well, that is what Herb Nerd does now, but I'm kind of jumping ahead. But
Hmm.
yeah, so that it's been a great career of formulating for other folks, creating supplements
Hmm.
that way for larger brands, making skincare products for up and coming brands as a consultant, and also incubating herbal skincare for my own product line. Just like what herbs and what extracts can we get away with putting into these products?
Right. So I want to go back just a second because
Yeah,
you talked about,
it's a lot.
well, only because I feel like it's really interesting to me that you come from, it seems like obviously a science family, right?
True.
Like,
Yeah,
but you also
I've never
have
thought of
this,
it that way.
you have this artistic side to you. And the
Right.
first thing I think of when you're talking is like, oh, this is an artist who is applying scientific method to create something new, which is
Hmm.
so interesting. That's the good stuff. That's the stuff that gets me so
Right.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah, I got pumped about it too. I
Yeah.
was really, because in school I was really suffering. I did not do well in school. I was a terrible test taker. I
Did
didn't
anyone ever
understand
do well in
math.
school? I don't know.
Well, people who have the right kind of brain for,
I
the public
guess. I
school
guess.
system, which
I
is,
guess.
we to
Yeah.
this day we're all raising an eyebrow
Right.
about that.
Right.
But when I had the avenue of my passion for herbalism and natural product
Hmm.
development, where I could channel math. And that's like the biggest thing that
Hmm.
I can say to people and that's why I think when I'm teaching about medicine making and ratios and percentages
Hmm.
and building spreadsheets, I think people learn well from me because I come from a place where I did not understand it
But you
for the
weren't so
longest
math.
time.
But you weren't good in math in school.
No, I mean, no.
I
Well, when it got to like algebra, yeah, no, I was
So
not.
that's so
But
interesting. So I had sort of the same experience. I was terrible in math in school, but
yeah,
while I was in college, I worked my way through college as a machinist, which you have to
cool.
use a lot of math.
Yeah.
It was easy.
Loved it, right? Because it was
Loved it.
applied to
I
something
knew
you were really
it was
passionate
so
about.
simple for me. I was just like, oh, yeah, yeah, this is the math formula that you use. It's so easy to do. And then it dawned on
Yeah.
me like, wait a
Oh my gosh,
second,
I'm doing math.
hold on. Why am I doing so bad in math in school and literally
Mhm.
using those same application at work? And it's easy.
Yeah.
I you know,
So interesting
yeah.
and really exciting. And it also takes a good teacher because I thrived in physics in high school. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
who knew? Like
Yeah.
I did great in physics. The concepts were super
Hmm.
relatable to me, but it was because I had a teacher who loved it and made it easy to understand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whether it's applying it through your passion or having someone that is passionate about it teach it to you.
Exactly. Exactly. I
Yeah.
think it's the passion part. I think that's, if you can make someone excited, which is another question I had for you because I was thinking about this because you are a teacher, right? I mean, that's as you
Yeah.
are. And I think we can talk about this in a little bit because I do want to pick your brain because I have a realization that I'm not good at teaching others. And I want to
Mm.
know how I can improve myself as far as teaching,
Oh,
some of the things that
love
I
that.
do. But we'll go, hold on that one for just
Okay.
for a little bit because I kind of want to go back to your basic, more of your just like your history and how you got
Sure.
to exactly where you're at now.
Thanks, Tommy. You're the best. It's so
Ah,
sweet that you are asking these questions
well,
and
yeah,
diving into my past. And
I
it's
get so
just really
excited.
cool.
Yeah, I get so
Yeah.
excited.
Well, so I guess past wise, my degree is in theater. I studied I got is that where we're going with this? Is that a
Sure,
good
because I
place to
actually
go?
do want to know a little bit about theater. I want to know again, I think it's all relatable. It all connects in some
It's what
way.
makes me a good teacher. I like to be in front of an audience.
There it is. There it is.
I found my stage essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought from a young age when I did Henny Penny in like fourth grade, the sky is falling down and I was the lead character. I've just always kind of been a ham,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And so then in high school you have dreams of grandeur and I thought I was going to be a famous actress someday.
Right.
And so I pursued it and I went to school at UC Santa Barbara and I
Hmm.
got a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, which was an audition only program. And it was awesome. I had such an amazing experience in college. I'm very blessed. We got to do dance classes. I did contemporary,
Hmm.
modern. I got to learn to juggle. I got to, what else did I do? It was just, I had I had, amazing movement teachers and voice teachers and
Hmm.
learned phonetics for the first time in my life,
Hmm. Yeah.
which I was raised learning whole word language, which is a terrible way to teach someone to read. And
Yes.
so I learned
Yes.
phonetics in college and, like opened up a whole world of um sounding out words and
Right.
saying things phonetically and learning other languages and all of that. So yeah, so then the arts kind of turned me off a little bit because it was so competitive.
Mm.
And I
Hmm.
went through a whole hippie phase. I just became a belly dancer and wanted to do circus arts and
Yeah.
not, and I had dreadlocks and
Hmm.
yeah, went through a whole phase where I
So
kind of ran away from theater a bit.
yeah, so it was almost a rejection of not theater itself, but of the process in which you need to. I can
Yeah,
imagine that there's so much politics involved
it was
in
it was a trip. Yeah. It
yeah.
was I was coming into myself as with the help of some strong medicinals that I was
Hmm.
enjoying and imbibing at the time,
Yeah.
marijuana being one of them.
Sure.
Um, I was, my eyes they were opening up to the world, and I was getting really grounded in earth energy and passionate about the environment. And theater, if I were to graduate from that program, a lot of my fellow graduates went off to Los Angeles to pursue the
Yeah.
arts.
Hmm.
And it was not resonating with me at all. I
Mm.
just, I tried out for a couple things. It was really cutthroat. So although I had these amazing teachers and this wonderful experience, I just kind of went a completely different direction. And I was in my 20s. I was figuring it all out.
Oh yeah.
I
Right. Right.
I was all over the map, honestly.
Of
So,
course, we all were. Anybody who had it figured out in their 20s, they're just a freak.
God, if I could go back and talk to anyone in their 20s right now, it's just like, go have fun. And don't put too
Oh,
much pressure on yourself.
for sure. Yeah, stop that. Stop with the just have fun.
Just have fun. Just
God,
live it up. Man, you're going to have kids soon. You're going to have a career.
you're not
Like,
going to
let that all
understand.
come later.
You're not going to
Figure
understand.
yourself out.
You're going to get to an age and you're going to be like, oh my God, I don't have any energy anymore. I don't have
Oh, I'm feeling it all right now. I'm like postpartum, perimenopausal with a 4-year-old. Like, it is to the max.
anymore. If I stay up past midnight, I have a hangover. I don't
Yeah.
drink. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Just stay up past midnight. You got a hangover. It's
No,
just,
I can't even go to bed past 10:30 or I won't fall asleep because I can't stop my brain.
oh
Yeah,
God.
it's a joy.
Oh God. Anyway,
Oh, to
yes,
be
enjoy,
young.
enjoy. If you're out there, you're listening to this, you're in your 20s. Jesus God.
Yeah,
Have fun. Just,
go have fun.
go have fun.
Go be in nature. Take lots of trips.
Yeah.
Travel as much as you can. Go into debt. Like
Right.
whatever you have to
Right.
do to just be present, be in the moment and find your spirituality. Find like
Right.
what that looks like for
Yeah.
you. Find yourself.
Right. Now,
Don't do it for anyone
I can
else.
also hear the other side of that being that I think that they're faced with a little bit different circumstances than
I can only imagine.
what we
Oh my
were.
gosh.
Yeah. So that's got to be pretty tough. But
Well, I'm trying to get going on social media to market my brand and oh my gosh, the
how's that
life of the
going?
influencer.
How's that going? That's fun, isn't it?
Ugh, it's weird because once you start doing it, so I had a career for the last 3 years, I've been in corporate.
Uh-huh.
And now I find myself back to working for myself again full time. And what a contrast. And yeah, thinking about content, it's like this
It's
constant wheel
constant.
in your
Yeah.
head
Yeah.
of like, oh, that and that and that. And it's fun. It's actually really fun
Hmm.
now that I'm really just embracing it. And it's not like I've always been in the hustle of like, have a day job to maintain the
Hmm.
business.
Yeah.
And right now I'm in this sweet spot where I'm blessed that I don't have to be like pursuing my next day job. So
Hmm.
I'm just going to try to make Herb Nerd be the thing.
Good. Yeah. No, the social media, that's crazy. Recently,
So
I'm in the
crazy.
same sort of boat. Recently, I was convinced like, hey, you know what? You do a lot of arts, you have a lot of projects, you should show people. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
going to do it. I'm going
Yeah.
to go out there. I'm going to get on Instagram and put this stuff out
Awesome.
there. Fantastic. A lot of fun for sure. But
Yeah.
now it's this constant, okay, I got to post twice a week. What am I going to come
Yeah.
up with? I need to, now I've seen the other side of that in that it's motivating me to work on stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas before, maybe I wouldn't have worked on it as hard. So I'm like now, but it's just an
Sure.
added pressure. It's an added stress that I did to myself.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well said.
or I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, how many likes did I get?
Yeah.
Oh my, what is that? What am I
Oh, there's
doing?
not only that, but with herbalism, I'm going to just be real. I find it so I can't even go on there and scroll because I get so much anxiety
Mm,
around all the content other people are
mhm.
producing. That's so amazing and it's so much better than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, they have so many followers and
Oh
I'm never
yeah.
going to be like
You-
that. So I'm just
Just
going to
look.
go into this like freeze mode,
Or
you
yeah,
know?
you're like, how do you have 18,000 followers? How is that possible?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I hope we all do it. Like we get a little jealous. We
Oh, of course. Of course.
wonder like what it takes to get there and how to how to be seen and the
Yeah.
endless algorithm that
Right.
is. Oh, and then we can talk about AI and how it's like
I don't know.
replacing all of our
I don't know
jobs
what
as
to do. I don't
herbalists.
know what to do with AI.
One thing I will
That's
say about AI, I was working in corporate and a lot of what we do, DSHEA is a big deal.
uh
You have to be compliant when you're selling a
of
product. You can't
course.
say that anything cures anything.
Of course.
And if you use ChatGPT to substantiate a
Mm,
claim,
mhm,
there are a lot of broken links. Like it is not
mm.
versed
Yeah.
as well as a human being
Right.
on herbalism, and
Mhm.
that's such a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It won't replace us yet.
Right. Well, I find the same thing in design, art. I can spot AI pretty quickly. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, that's an
but then you
AI.
start wondering if everything is AI, and it's
Yeah, it just there's something not quite right. You can kind of see it, and I'm like, okay, that's not real. But I don't know how much
yeah,
longer that's gonna, But
that wasn't done by a human.
yeah, or at least it had maybe the human had some help. You can kind of see it, but I don't know
Yeah,
how much longer that's going to be the case. I mean, AI
yeah,
is, it's
learning every day.
oh my God, yeah, it's crazy. And
I
they
saw
just,
the funniest
hmm,
comment recently of someone saying, I just wanted a cleaner robot. I just wanted something that would clean my house. Why do
yeah,
we have to do this? And
yeah.
it's the most, it's one of, I thought I read somewhere, it's one of the least tested technologies that we've ever released on society.
Hmm.
And we're just like letting it
It's an
take over.
experiment. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Well, we're
That's
just such guinea pigs these days. Such a
absolutely,
trip.
absolutely. I got to ride in. I never get into Teslas. One of
Hmm.
my friends had a Tesla or Tesla. I think that's what
Tesla.
Tesla. The Tesla. No, I
That's
was on a
funny.
Tesla, and I guess I didn't realize that they were completely self-driving. Like he got in and he just punched in this address
Terrifying.
and it
You
just
didn't drive
started.
the whole time? How
No,
far did you guys
no,
go?
I don't know, 30 miles.
Whoa.
Backcountry
I
roads
couldn't.
too. Not like highway, get on the highway and it's all just pretty. No, it's backcountry roads. It was
Wow.
completely, I
That's
was
cool.
like, what? This is,
Or scary.
I don't
Yeah, we
know.
have in San Francisco, we've got these Waymos that are self-driving and they're taxis and you can just pick one up with an app and everyone, when you see someone in them, they're always filming. Everyone still thinks it's such a novelty and I wonder when that'll wear off. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
weird time for an herbalist.
I think it's a weird time for everyone, to be honest.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
friends who are doctors.
100%.
They're very worried of what's going to happen in the next 10
Wow,
years.
that's crazy.
I have, my brother's a lawyer. He's talking about it as well. It's like, oh, well, people can just have an AI lawyer who knows literally everything about the law. So it's going to be,
Isn't there a human component to law though? Like knowing your client, knowing their,
maybe, but if you know every loophole out there, if you know how to, you're going to get the
wow.
best lawyer for the
Well, as long
nothing.
as they give us all a monthly stipend, I guess we can just sit around doing
I
nothing all
have
day and garden.
all the faith in the world that our government's going to give us all a monthly stipend.
That was sarcasm, everyone,
Very,
in
very much
case you
so.
didn't know.
Yes, very much so. Anyway,
Uh,
we are off the path a little bit, but that's
mhm.
okay because I think that there's a plant out there that can help, right?
Yeah, something strong, please give it
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
All the nervines, I've been taking them a lot. I have a strong nervous system support formula for my postpartum anxiety. It's motherwort and skullcap and oat, and I take it. I like swig it, actually.
So can I ask you a little bit about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from
So
what little I know about it.
well, so what happened? How did you kind of, was it immediate? Was it something that you
No, no, good question. And very little talked about.
Yeah,
I think women's
I don't know
health
nothing about it, to be honest.
from a supplement standpoint, I'm getting more and more passionate about this because I'm attending conferences where people are talking about how, oh, women's health is a really untapped area
Mhm.
in the supplement space. And it's because we can't do studies on women because they get pregnant and we have fluctuating hormones.
Mhm.
So many excuses. But I don't have a history of depression. Think of myself as a relatively happy person. And I had my daughter back in 2020. So it was also pandemic. No,
Yeah.
I had her in 2021. So it was like we were phasing out of the pandemic,
Still pandemic though, right?
still very pandemic-y.
Yeah.
And yeah, at first, you've got your village and people show up and support. And it's also just like shock and awe, like you're just figuring it out as you go. It's a very busy time. And so I swear I didn't start saying out loud that I had postpartum depression and anxiety until like, I don't know, last year,
Really?
which is 2024. So I didn't even really well, I wasn't even able to put a name to it until
I see.
2.5 years after
Mhm.
she was born, because the dust is finally settling and you're kind of left. Um, Yeah, I mean, for me, I was late. I had her late in life. I had her at 38, and I took prenatals and all of that, and I had a healthy birth, all of
Mhm.
that. But there's something about the hormone shift, also having an identity and a career path, and then having that all just
Yeah.
totally hit the brakes
Mhm.
hard.
Mhm.
Um, I had to stop teaching at the local herb school. I just didn't have the capacity for lots of extracurricular things. And so as you're fading out and you're essentially a part of you is dying. That's how a lot of mothers have actually said it to me. I'm actually repeating what I've
Interesting.
heard from other
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that I resonate with. And yeah, there's a part of you that really you have to put to death, to rest,
Mm-hmm.
and be okay with that. And I think for a long time I wasn't okay with that, and I really struggled with that.
So you mentioned something that was you had a community around you in the beginning.
Hmm.
Was it
Hmm.
the loss of community after? Do you think that had some?
Yeah, there's partly that it's lonely. Even for the folks that do show up, it's still lonely. You're still, and it's incredibly selfless for a mother. I know it's different for most dads, but and this is, the birthing person,
Mhm.
is my daughter to this day at 4 years old is mom, mom, mom. And I love her. I love her so much, but it's this requirement of your time and energy is completely given to this other being.
Right. Right.
And I don't have, like, I just started reading my first book like a couple weeks ago. I
Mm-hmm.
bought a book
Mm-hmm.
and started reading it and have the time to do that. And it's like so wonderful and I have to still wait until, you know, after she goes to bed at night.
Sure.
Um, so, so I finally started. St. John's wort came back into my life big time once I was able to claim out loud that I was actually suffering from depression. Yeah, I started going hard on motherwort and St. John's wort
Mm-hmm.
specifically, and some skullcap, kava, lavender. Those have all been really helpful allies to me
Mm-hmm.
during this time. Yeah, I'm also playing around with other lesser known or lesser used, lesser approved substances,
Mm.
which we probably can't talk about on the podcast. But
Oh, can if you like.
there's something to be said for microdosing
Mm.
and rewiring. And I've actually taught classes at the California School of Herbal Studies on depression
Mm-hmm.
and herbs for depression.
Mm-hmm.
Before I realized I myself was suffering from it, I was teaching classes on it.
Wow.
And there's Jill Stansbury has an amazing a couple of podcasts or recordings that she's done on um, nootropic herbs and depression.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about how with depression you're greasing the skid, where you have a thought pattern, it's a negative thought pattern, and it's so well honed in your brain that it's just this, you're just greasing it, you're just
Yeah.
constantly reinforcing it.
Yeah.
And in order to break out of that, herbs can be helpful. And she also is an advocate for St. John's wort, for weaning folks off of antidepressants, which
Mm.
is a really, really fascinating to listen to that talk. Yeah. And so where was I going with that?
Well, I think you were talking a little bit about microdosing.
So one of the best ways to create neuroplasticity is through psilocybin.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And neuroplasticity allows you to create new neural pathways in
Mm-hmm.
the brain.
Yeah.
And so that is my newest pursuit, just personal, just to see if it helps at all.
Yeah. And are you seeing any preliminary
Yeah, I
sort
mean, it
of?
definitely it depends on the day and like what I have to do and how my daughter's acting. And
Mm.
but yeah, I find that it allows me to breathe. It allows me to relax into things a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah. I don't have children, so I don't have
Oh,
this experience. It was a choice that both my wife and I made. I mean, we both come from pretty
I tip my hat to you.
it's we both come from pretty rough paths.
Hmm.
I think it's one way of breaking sort of that cycle that happens. And also, it's just that both of us understood that it would be hard for us to give up
Yeah.
all of the things that you have to give up in order to have children. I think it's absolutely noble. I think that it's amazing that people do it, and I applaud it. And I know someday I don't know if I will regret it. I hope that I don't, but there probably will
Yeah.
be someday when I'm like,
There's some part of your brain that
yeah,
will
just
wonder,
like,
but
right. When I'm a very old person and no one comes around to see me.
oh,
I'm like,
Will they come?
maybe,
Even if you have
yeah,
them, they
yeah.
might
Well,
not
that's
come.
true. That's true. But yeah. So I have a lot of friends who have children, and I see what they have to go through I mean, they basically you give up most of your time. You give up a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
an
your time and
incredible
energy.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I find in some ways it's really shown me how much I didn't grow up. Some part of me never wanted to grow up. I'm still very much a kid at heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so a lot of this like mothering and being there for someone else. And I have great parents. I got really blessed.
Hmm.
So I had a great role models,
Hmm.
almost to a fault, where I'm just like, I'm a terrible parent.
Oh no.
You know?
Oh no. You're judging
So
yourself on, yeah.
I'm thinking about how my daughter will watch this someday, and I'm like, oh God, I should be saying nothing but positive things. But I don't think enough people talk about the reality of how hard it is, and
Hmm.
how hard it is for moms and hormones and careers, being a career woman, and being passionate about the things that I am passionate about, while also trying to juggle that with loving my daughter in a way that I never knew I could love anything,
Yeah. Right.
like to the point where it hurts, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's so overwhelming. Emotions I never knew existed.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine. So we have
Whew.
cats. We have a lot of cats and horses, but the cats, like,
Amazing.
yeah, well,
Love cats.
yes, but for me, the cat can literally be on one couch in his spot. His baby boy's my cat. I call him baby boy, and then
Yeah.
like the next day he's like sitting on another chair, and I'm like, what's going on with you? Like, is there something wrong? Have you like you know,
New phase in his
like
life,
what's
man.
happening? What do I take you to the vet? What's going on? I don't understand. I can't imagine what it'd be like with a child. I think
And
that,
they're constantly going through these regressions
oh my
where you're
God.
like, oh my God, does she have autism?
Right.
You know, like you're
Yeah.
just like,
You're like, what's going on? Right.
yeah.
Right. I can't, I think our parents, I don't know. Your parents sound amazing. My parents just, they just toss you outside and, go like, see you when the sun goes down, kind of a
Oh
thing. Right.
gosh,
Some of
yeah.
the,
Hands
which was
off
great in a
parenting.
lot of ways. That
Sure.
was, I feel
I
like,
toss her outside a lot. Not like in a forceful way, but I am amazed by how children are such nature lovers. I
absolutely.
actually was listening to a
Yeah.
podcast that Rosemary was interviewed on recently, and she was speaking to this too. But children are just designed to live in nature and be outside
Yeah.
and make believe all day long. She is, of all the I I love that I have a daughter in that she has so much curiosity around my herbalism.
Mm.
She
Hmm.
is, I'm so lucky that it happened that way, that
Hmm.
she's just as excited about making a hydrosol as I am. And she's just
Aw.
excited about, Mom, I want to make a lavender oil. She's been asking me that a lot
At
recently because we
4?
have all this lavender drying.
That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, because she's been seeing me do it. I mean, she made bath bombs with me once.
Wow.
She loves it. So I am very grateful that, as I'm sure as we grow together, as
Hmm.
she gets older, um, that this will just be this beautiful connection that we have, and
Hmm.
it'll all work out.
Absolutely. It will. Absolutely. So with your business now with Herb Nerd, I want to talk a little bit about that and like what I'd love to explain it to the listeners. Like, what is Herb Nerd? What is this passion project of yours? I'm so excited.
Okay.
Okay.
Herb Nerd, right. It was born during the pandemic.
Hmm.
I have been a teacher now for the past 10 years, and I'm primarily was teaching at the California School of Herbal Studies.
Hmm.
And then during the pandemic, so one thing that I'll say about teaching live is you make a lot of mistakes. You can prep and prep and prep for a class, and you'll still get up in front of this group of people, and it's scary. It's like adrenaline. I love that
Hmm.
as a actor, but you're being scrutinized for every detail of what you say too. I
Yeah,
mean,
of course.
and you can get it wrong.
Hmm.
I had a class last year where I was teaching everyone how to make lotion, and we made a lot of good lotions, but the very last one we made didn't ever emulsify.
Hmm.
And now here I am as a teacher teaching about emulsions, and had a fail right in front of everybody. So the platform Herb
Hmm.
Nerd It's a wonderful way to take all of those experiences and all the feedback you get from your students and to channel it into these pre-recorded perfection pieces of perfection
Hmm.
that, although I would still go back and, maybe edit them here and there, they are kind of the culmination of
Yeah.
everything that I've learned through teaching in person and my own geeking out on plants.
Right.
And Herb Nerd is kind of a title that I've had students call me that in the past because I, I think with traditional herbalism, there's a lot of passed down knowledge, and it's said different. A lot of people are saying the same thing in different ways,
Hmm.
but I always felt like, but why? Why is it good for this? Why,
Right.
you know, what does it look like? Why do adaptogens help you adapt to stress?
Hmm.
Saponins, that's a great little constituent that I
Hmm.
learned about that I can now say is an irritant that mildly irritates cells. And as those cells are irritated, they have a stress response, and it actually beefs them up and gets them prepared to, handle stress better
Mm.
in the long run.
Okay.
It's like push up for cells, right? That's
Right.
not every adaptogen, but a lot of adaptogens have these saponins. And so, yeah, I really geek out on phytochemistry. And that is thanks to Lisa Ganora, really. She was a huge reason why I even was able to find those questions,
Hmm.
get the questions, create the questions, get the questions answered. Yeah, so I have an herbal remedies intensive. I only have a few courses on my site so far.
Hmm.
And they're basically the things that I wanted to make first. So
Sure.
my herbal remedies intensive is kind of for you could take it as a beginning medicine maker because it's going to take you through everything.
Hmm.
We do solvent by solvent. So you start with tea, you start with water. What can you do with water? Then we go into vinegar. What can you do with vinegar?
Yeah.
Then we go to oil. And then I geek out on which chemicals from the plants, which constituents are molecularly polarized to best be extracted with that solvent.
Mm.
So you're making super intelligent medicine, right?
Oh, I like
You're
that. That's good. I like that a lot. That's a great.
yeah,
That's
you're
great
kind
branding
of
right
really
there.
getting into
Super intelligent medicine. That's
yeah.
fantastic branding. So
Thank you. Well, I haven't ever used it before, so
there you
I'll
go.
give it a
Give
shot.
it a shot,
But,
please.
and there's something to be said for the folk herbalist that there's some major magic that happens when you just put everything in a jar and pour some alcohol over it. And
Hmm.
it's hard to recreate, but it is very magical. So
Yeah,
it's not
but
folk
did you find that
herbalism.
even in that magic, there's that so before I feel like there would be these remedies, right, with plants, and they would just it was maybe magic in that sense of like they kind of put it together. But then when you actually
Yeah.
break down what the plants were really doing, it's like, oh, this is pure science, and that what the plants are, it was just how they discovered it. Maybe was more on that magical side
Yeah,
of
well, and trial and error, right? I
right
mean,
and
people
trial and error.
people
Exactly,
living with plants and being desperate for solutions because you didn't have a doctor that maybe lived on your street or you
exactly,
know
exactly.
you you were just like what can I find around me that will heal. It's just imagine people constantly putting things in their mouth. Oh, that's a little bit bitter, so that has maybe some alkaloids in it,
Hmm.
and maybe it's poisonous, but maybe it's not, and
Right, right,
maybe
exactly,
the yeah.
exactly.
Um so kudos to our ancestors for putting everything in their mouths.
Well, you said guinea pigs earlier, right? So
We've always been guinea
always kind of been
pigs.
guinea
Good point.
pigs. Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. So that's the herbal piece of Herb Nerd. And then, like I said, I had these two paralleling kind of lives going on. I had herbalism
Hmm.
and the study of plants, along with my product development world
Yeah.
of making skincare products and formulations. So my other course that I offer on there is formula building blocks, and I co-taught it with a cosmetic chemist
Oh.
because I'm an herb nerd. And so I was like, let's take
Oh.
our formulations to the next level. I don't have this knowledge, so who
Yeah.
can we talk to?
How did
And
that go?
it was awesome.
I bet.
I mean, I did it for my own,
Right.
really for
Right.
myself.
Yeah. You got to ask all the questions that you
I
wanted to.
got to ask all the questions, and that's how the
Yeah.
class is framed. It's she comes at it with this very science driven, almost hard to understand chemistry.
Hmm.
And then we co-teach the class and we're kind of two talking heads, but it's essentially an interview or something like that, where as she says something and I don't understand what she's saying, I ask a lot of
Hmm.
questions to get her to break it down. And a lot of feedback I've gotten about that course. It's actually a local skincare company that has their entire lab trained with my course because they think it's such a useful tool.
Wow.
And their feedback,
Congratulations.
thank
That's
you, thank you.
amazing.
They're called Botnia. They're based in Sausalito. It's a really cool, beautiful herbal skincare line.
Hmm.
And so their feedback was they love that back and forth between the two of us.
Yeah.
That you have the scientist that's explaining the why, and then you have the herbalist kind of inquisitive that's trying to bring it to the layman's terms
Sure.
for everyone to understand. Yeah,
Oh, so that's interesting because now I want to talk a little bit about teaching because I asked earlier
right.
about little help with that. Um,
Hmm.
do you feel like that? Because you kind of hit on something there that you feel like that you're an interpreter sometimes.
Yeah, I once had the director of the herb schools tell me that I could probably teach anything. Like I could teach you how to fix a car as long as I learned it first. I have a way of being able to know what it feels like as the receiver of the
Hmm.
information,
Hmm.
so I can explain it in a way that's really it's kind of speaking to myself as the enthusiast learner who has a lot of questions, and if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does. Well, so I've been asked to teach several classes and on branding and design and things like that. And
Right.
I always struggle with with maybe with marketing and branding. There's it's a little more formulaic in a
Hmm.
sense. So
Sure.
you can kind of break it down that way. Um, and I can teach that. But when it comes to design, that's a totally different beast.
Because it's more artistic.
It's more artistic and it
Hmm.
becomes really difficult for me to say why I like, you can literally look at a piece and maybe you move the typeface 2 inches to the right or left, and suddenly
Changes everything.
that's it. That's everything.
Yeah.
How do you teach that? How do you teach that other than what I say to them is just like it's really practice, 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 and
Hmm.
constantly looking at what other people have done and try to figure out how they did it. That's something
Yeah.
that helps me a lot. So I'd completely break down someone's design and try to figure out where they were. What was the starting point?
Cool.
How did they
That's
start?
so cool.
You know.
I've done a tiny bit of design
Hmm.
through, developing labels and stuff over the years. And wow, it is such an art. And it really is. It's like taking a step back
Yeah.
with design. You really have to be able to
Oh, so far
kind of
back.
make your eyes go a little bit
And
blurry
and look,
to
I'm not comparing myself at all to Jackson Pollock. No chance, right? Come on, come on. But
why not?
how would he explain? Oh, I dripped this paint in this spot,
I know.
and now it suddenly is, it's
Uncanny.
everything. It's
Yeah, it's
everything all in
everything.
one. It's just amazing.
You
How?
can't teach that.
Right, right. So but can you teach the process to get to that point? Because I'm sure with him, as with
Mm,
everyone else, there was practice. Now, great, he had a brilliant mind. He saw something in chaos that we maybe don't see. He was able to kind of
mm,
put that together,
mm.
right? He was able to pull that signal from the noise, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But how do you teach that? Like that's the part that I struggle with when it comes to, especially to design. Like, how do you teach that part? So I'm putting you on the
Well,
spot, so I need an answer.
that's fine. That's fine. Well, obviously, I have never taught design,
Right,
so
right.
I'm going to have to speak from what I teach, which is I taught the handcrafted course at the
Hmm.
herb school, which was all about making medicine.
Hmm.
But we'd start the day off with more. It was all seasonal, right? So what's happening with this season, and what herbal remedies are growing right now, and how can we make medicine out of them, and then let's now make the medicine. Um, Making medicine, I think, is best taught through example, like getting your hands in the medicine.
Hmm.
It's one thing to read about herbalism in a book, it's another thing to grow a plant.
Hmm.
It's another thing
Hmm.
to make a tincture and really just like grind the herbs and combine it with the solvent. And I'm really passionate about the steps that it takes. Again, we talk about passion. So going into every class, and especially when I was teaching at the herb school, I had about a 15 to 20-minute drive to get out there. I always talked the whole way there with um, my intro that really brought people into the moment,
Yeah.
because it's one thing to show up and be like, okay, we're going to do this thing today. It's another thing to inspire people out the gate. Like, this season is so empowering because of this. And you're a part of that. Like, how can you really tie your students into the experience where they're like, I feel that, I know that feeling. And so I generally would try to pull from examples of things that are relatable. I wish I could think of an example off the top of my head. But yeah, finding a way to be relatable.
Well, you've already given me ideas, because now I'm thinking, wow, what if you literally taught a class where you started with a blank canvas and then you just started designing, but talking with them and in the process and start
and have them contribute
exactly
to what goes
so
on.
then they can see how it's built. Because if you're trying to break it down to this, like, how is it actually built? Which I think is the most important thing.
You're starting with the end, and you can now start with the beginning.
You start with the beginning. And move.
Cool. I love that.
That's it. You did it. Thank you. That's all that's all I needed out of this podcast. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Anytime.
No, that's brilliant. That's really brilliant.
Love it.
Yeah, no, just like that, just that process that's so brilliant.
Another thing I love about teaching live, which I don't know if it comes out as much in my online course. I think I try to make it come out as much. 'Cause I love to be funny and silly.
Yeah.
And I'm okay being the butt of the joke. I cuss a little bit here and there. And so I'm like entertaining.
Yes,
I try to make my classes fun. And I really want people to feel like she's just quirky and she doesn't really take herself that seriously. And so I feel really comfortable learning from this person.
Yeah.
And then they're a little bit more open to learning too, because I think if you approach people as a teacher with like, I am this authority and I'm so amazing, and aren't you intimidated by me? Like, you're kind of closing a door from the start, because people are like, well, I'll never be you. I'll never have what you have because you're this amazing, untouchable person.
Right.
But I'm like down in the grass. I'm down with them in the weeds, just
we want to turn off.
We're in this together.
To just take that approach. Come on. But, it reminds me, my wife teaches at the University of Oregon, and she was teaching this honors class a couple years back.
I'm married to a teacher. What are you asking me about teaching for?
I know. True. Very true. Good point. But she was teaching this honors class, and she loved teaching the honors class because, again, they're just, they're the nerds, right?
They're so there for it. Yeah.
But she said she had these two that were in the back and they were always laughing. And it was bugging her.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And so finally, after class, she was like, hey, can you two stick around? And she's like, what is going on? Why are you always laughing? And they looked at her and said, because you're so funny.
It's so endearing. Yeah.
And she's like, oh, yeah, I am.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And they just, they were like, you are
we're enjoying this.
Because they're enjoying it.
Yes.
And she talks about that all the time. It's like, oh, she had this one impression of it as being, oh, they're laughing at me. No, they're laughing with you. They're like, you're.
Yeah, you have to kind of get past that for sure. Because you don't know if they're laughing with you or at you.
Right.
As the person at the front of the room with all that energy pointed at you, it can be very daunting.
Yeah. But I guess
well,
like you said, but being funny though, how great is it?
I just lean on my humor a lot when I'm feeling uncomfortable. Like in this podcast interview, just like, oh my God, just be funny, just be silly, just keep it light, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing better
That's my motto in life.
Well, it is the greatest art, I think, is comedy.
Yeah, that's why maybe motherhood is so challenging for me, because it's so heavy. It's a lot. It's a lot to raise a human being and take that on,
Yeah, but you get to be so silly with a child though, right?
Yeah, well, I need to remind myself about that more, because it's hard. It's hard to remember in the moment when they're just like going at you,
Well, I have one of my really good friends. She has she had a daughter, and then less than a year later, she gave birth to twins.
Wow.
Yeah. So she has
that's a lot.
Yeah, so much. But It is it's one of my favorite things is that I get to just go and hang out with these three little ones and
Yeah,
be completely silly, just completely
it's
silly the
pretty great.
whole time.
Yeah.
And you walk away and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, that's like, there's nothing serious. There's no, there's nothing coming at you that's like, no, it's just having fun and being very silly. Now I get it.
It's
That's
very
not
good to
all.
hear you say that.
Well,
It's
but
a good reminder.
that's only one I get to come in, do that, then leave.
My
Right.
husband's like that a lot. He's very silly with her.
Yeah.
They get that relationship. I'm the like, are your teeth brushed? We need to get to school on time. Your dentist appointment is coming up. Your, doctor's appointment, da 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 da.
Right.
Are we
Right.
enrolled in TK? Da
Right.
da da. It's
I get to just
whew,
be Uncle Tommy, who
yeah, yeah.
brings a bag of gifts and, you know,
Yeah, and I have my days like that.
yeah.
Absolutely. The mushrooms help.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Hey, I'm so excited for Herb Nerd. This is great. This is going to be,
Thank
so are
you.
you planning to just continue to build, this is,
Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress.
yeah.
That's a good question. I have a soap class on there too. I just
Hmm.
posted my first ebook all about identifying dandelion. I have a course on lotion. I'm actually going to do just a free YouTube video, make a lotion with me, just a super
Wow.
basic lotion. And
Yeah.
that's going to be a funnel that will hopefully lead people to taking more courses on the website and eventually becoming a formulator just like me.
Ooh.
Because I really want to kind of send people on that same trajectory that I had
Hmm.
in a really easy fashion where they're not. And I wouldn't say that Herb Nerd has it all lined up just yet because I've been working and haven't had time to fill in those gaps. But that's the vision.
Right. Right. Well, it sounds like you are getting so much accomplished even with this 4-year-old. It's amazing. Like I can't imagine
Yeah.
that's some serious dedication. But again, it's, you
She
know,
helps me with some content creation. That's nice. I didn't used to want to put her on social media, but at this point, she's with me so much of the time when I'm
right.
with the
Got to put
plants
her out
that
there.
there
Absolutely.
she is.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's going to get you a few more likes, right? They're going to see
I
the little
guess
kid
so.
in the plants and be like, oh, I love that.
They
Ding, ding,
love,
ding.
people do love it. People do love seeing her. She's super cute. Oh my gosh. The cutest little thing.
Aw. So,
Yeah.
well, this was so much fun. I'm so happy that you were on. This was great.
Tommy, you're the sweetest. Thank you so much for the time that you gave
Oh,
to learning about me today. It
oh
really
yeah.
feels
No,
so sweet.
this was great. I learned so much, and it was so, again, it's so exciting to talk to passionate people. This is the best. This is the thing I look forward to the most every week, is just to sit down
Yeah.
here, and this is so much fun for me. So
You get to talk to so many cool people.
yeah, I do.
You have
It's
such a
really,
cool
I'm
job.
super lucky. I'm super lucky in that. It's really, really fun. But we'd love to have you maybe write a blog for us.
Oh, actually, there's one coming up. Yep. I
Oh,
am starting to write it this week.
great.
It's going to be kind of what we're talking about, learning how to just take all those extracts you have building up in your herbal apothecary and turn them into body care products, hair care
Ooh.
products. Like, we can plug some Mountain Rose products as well, obviously,
Yeah.
but how do we really get these extracts onto our bodies and into our
Ooh, let
bodies
us know. Let me
in
know what.
unique ways?
Send us a list of anything you need. Also, we'll send it to you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to formulate.
sounds good.
Do have fun with. So
Great. Will
good.
do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this. This was great.
Thank you, Tommy. It's been a
Okay.
pleasure.
Okay. We'll talk soon.
Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.